April 27, 2024, Lumber River State Park, North Carolina. A single gunshot shattered the silence of the afternoon, triggering a mystery that would capture the heart of a nation and unmask a dark secret. Mica Miller was captured on her Ring camera leaving her Myrtle Beach home for the last time. To the world, she was a pastor's wife. Behind closed doors, she was a woman fighting for her life. Mica was married to John Paul J.P. Miller, the leader of a prominent South Carolina church. They were the face of faith in their community, but faith was about to be replaced by a federal investigation. At 12:12 p.m., Mica entered a pawn shop. She purchased a 9mm handgun and ammunition. It was a purchase that local police would use to rule her death a suicide, but her family knew there was more to the story. Mica called 911 from the park. Her voice was calm, almost detached. She told the dispatcher where she was and what she was about to do, but investigators soon began to ask, was she being driven to this? Mica's family described a life of coercive control. They alleged that Mica had been tracked, harassed, and isolated for years. She had told her sister, "If I end up with a bullet in my head, it was JP." Weeks before her death, Mica reported finding a GPS tracker on her car. She found a razor blade on her tire. She was a woman living in constant fear, even as she tried to legally separate from her husband. The day after her death, J.P. Miller announced it at the end of a service. He told his congregation it was self-induced and ordered them not to talk about it. The community was stunned. The family was outraged. While local police stood by their suicide ruling, the FBI began looking into J.P. Miller's behavior. They weren't looking at the trigger. They were looking at the months of harassment leading up to it. December 2025. A federal grand jury indicted J.P. Miller on charges of cyberstalking and lying to federal agents. Prosecutors alleged a pattern of harassment that included hundreds of unwanted texts and tracking devices. The Justice for Mica movement exploded. It was no longer just a local story. It became a symbol for every woman trapped in a cycle of abuse. The world was watching Canton and Myrtle Beach. J.P. Miller pleaded not guilty to the federal charges. His legal team argued that his actions were being misinterpreted and that he had a rock-solid alibi for the day Mica died. Surveillance showed Miller's vehicle traveling in Horry County at the time of the 911 call. He was miles away from the park, but for federal investigators, his physical location wasn't the point. It was his digital footprint. In late 2024, the FBI searched Miller's private residence. They were searching for the rests of a digital life Mica had tried to escape. They found a pattern of surveillance that was chilling. The investigation uncovered a history that went back decades. Mica had known JP since she was 10 years old. Family affidavits characterized the entire marriage as a long-term grooming scenario. Her death led to Mica's Law in South Carolina, legislation designed to criminalize coercive control and recognize psychological abuse as a form of domestic violence. Her tragedy became a tool for change. But even in death, Mica was victimized again. A major TikTok fundraiser claiming to help her family was revealed to be a fraud, with thousands of dollars stolen for personal use. A secondary tragedy in an already dark case. As of today, the trial for the federal charges is pending. J.P. Miller remains at the center of a legal storm that could see him imprisoned for years. The truth is slowly being unsealed. Lost in the legal battles is Mica herself. A daughter, a sister, and a woman who was loved for her vibrant spirit and her dedication to her faith. A life that ended far too soon. Today, the Lumber River flows in peace, but it remains a site of pilgrimage for those who demand justice. The city of Myrtle Beach and the nation will never forget her name. Was Mica Miller's death a tragic choice made in isolation, or the final act of a decade-long pattern of control? The federal courts will decide, but for her family, the answer is already clear. We will continue to follow this case as it moves toward trial. The archives are never truly closed when justice is at stake. Tell us your theories in the comments. Don't miss our next deep dive investigation. Subscribe to Midnight Dossier Studio and join the hunt for the truth. Help us shine a light into the darkest files. Thank you for watching. We bring you the mysteries that time couldn't hide. Stay safe. Good night.